kill the brain and you kill the ghoul.
Cold Dead Heart Horror Show, bringing you the top horror news of the month every month. Reporting and discussing the best and coolest upcoming movies, shows, books, comics, and toys. And we'll keep you informed and hopefully entertained. I'm Gigi Smashley, and I'll be your host today. Joining me in the depths, we have Lena.
Hey there.
Ken of the Dead.
Hey, hey.
And Chris from Blackened.
How's it going?
All right, Lena, why don't you kick us off with the horror movie and show news of the month?
Thanks, Gigi. Okay, guys, we got a lot of good updates and news throughout February. I'm gonna start with the movies. First off, Luc Besson, the director of The Fifth Element, announced that he will be taking on the blood-sucking count for the new big-budget adaptation called Dracula, A Love Tale. Sébastien Vanissek, who just made his feature directorial debut on the French horror film Vermin, aka Infested, announced that he was been hired by Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell to head the next installment of the Evil Dead franchise. Sébastien stated in a recent interview that he has been given 100% creative control over the project and has an interesting new direction he'd like to go. Colin and Cameron Carnes' Late Night with the Devil got a full trailer this month. That looks amazing. The story of a live broadcast of a late-night talk show in 1977 that goes horribly wrong, unleashing evil into the world through our television sets. Iconic horror actor Doug Bradley returns to familiar territory in Thorns, a Hellraiser-inspired movie that melds themes of religion and science with practical special effects. Thorns opens in select theaters on February 23 with an expansion aimed for later in the year.
Thanks, Lena. Okay, Ken, what's been happening in the creepy world of comics?
Thanks, G. Well, it's been another fantastic month for horror comics. James Tynion's Killer Santa Claus comic, The Deviant, and Simon Kudunski's vampire noir book, Blood Commandment, both wrapped up this month. I highly recommend both books. They were both really killer. Jeff Lemire and Andreas Sorrentino's interdimensional horror series Tenement released their penultimate issue, number 9, this week. One more to go, and I can't wait to see how this one wraps up. It's been my favorite horror comic since it started, part of the Bone Orchard mythos, really good series. The Evil Dead comic, Army of Darkness Forever, dropped its 5th issue, 4 issues over its intended one-shot. It takes place in the past, an alt-present, and a Deadite overrun future, all at the same time. The book keeps ramping up the fun, and it's a really cool addition to the franchise. Part 1 of The Right Hand by Ram V and The Six Fingers by Dan Waters both released this month. 2 books telling the same story of a crazed killer and the man responsible for catching him. One from the detective's perspective and the other from the killer's. These are 2 amazing writers working on one project together from 2 different angles, 2 separate books. It's a really cool project and experiment. I'm digging it so far. Lastly, and more of a personal insert, but we got the milestone issue, issue 350 of Spawn this week. For those of you who don't know, I've been a Spawn fanatic since I was 11 years old, never missed an issue, and this newest bicentennial issue boasts big changes to the Spawn universe, a new ruler of hell. I actually read it. I got an early preview, got to read it, blown away. Can't say enough about it, but no spoilers for anyone still catching up. But it was a really, really good issue. That wraps me up for horror comics.
It's amazing, Ken. Thank you. Let's jump over to horror games with Lena.
Thanks, Gigi. All right, guys. First, I want to talk about the fact that the cult favorite Barbara Crampton is being added as a playable character in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game. We've waited for a while, and I mean, how cool is that? Next, we have indie game publisher Wandering Wizards' Zombie Within, which released on the 22nd. A post-apocalyptic zombie game set in a world overrun by flesh eaters with 6-player co-op. It's a lot of strategy, so you better get used to it. the long-awaited next step in the Silent Hill franchise, titled The Short Message, released this month. And to no surprise, has already earned over 1 million downloads. Lastly, and the one we are most excited about, Killer Clowns from Outer Space, the game, got a new trailer and release day of June this year. This looks very fun. And that was all for the games.
Thanks, Lena. All right, Blackened, what's happening with horror collectibles?
Thanks, Gigi. All right, so Trick or Treat Studios just announced a House of a Thousand Corpses tabletop game, which they're going to be funding that through a Kickstarter. It's a single-player game, or you can play with other boils and goyles to get, and you also get to travel through some pretty iconic locations from the movie. I'm personally hoping that they have Captain Spaulding's museum in there, but we're just going to have to wait and see. You'll be tasked with hunting down as many victims as you can, and, well, pretty much deciding what their fates will be. We also have a very exclusive release from super7.com, and the way it's spelled is SUPER, the number 7.com. And it's so exclusive that the 8-inch tall, 14-inch long Toho Ultimates Godzilla -1 figure has actually already sold out. It dropped on February 1 and was only limited to 1,500 figures. So if you're hearing this right now and are a fan of the King of Monsters and missed out, you're pretty much just shit out of luck. Although they did allow 2 purchases per customer, so maybe check out eBay or Amazon to see if someone is selling one of their doubles. Also, NECA has listed pre-orders for a 7-inch Universal Monsters Frankenstein's Monster and Chair set. It's based off the 1935 flick Bride of Frankenstein. For $59.99, you get the monster himself, the restraining chair, complete with wrist shackles and real chains. Accessories also include a loaf of bread, a mug bowl, and interchangeable heads and hands. Comes in a display-friendly window box packaging with a front flap to open so you can display it proudly without taking it out of the box, or take it out of the box and completely ruin its value. That's completely up to you. It's due to ship out in June, so head over to the necastore.com, and that's TheNecastore.com to grab yours, and that's about enough out of me.
Thanks so much, Blackened. All right, crew, what news has got you excited?
All of this, right?
All of it?
Everything sounds so good. I don't know. Dracula: A Love Tale is the most catching title for the a new big budget Dracula movie. I'm hoping it's going to be good. Sebastian, yeah, I love it when a director gets complete control, right?
Mm-hmm.
The worst thing about any movie in a franchise that you love is when it sucks and then you find out it's because 10,000 people behind the scenes, red tape people that aren't artists messed with it, and it could have been a masterpiece. But when a director has complete creative control, it's going to win on his back or lose on his back. And I think that's a better way to go. I'm always excited for a new Evil Dead.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and Late Night with the Devil. Holy smokes, man. Did that trailer look cool? I've been following this since first announcement. So throughout the last year, I think I've been following the development on it. And it looks so cool, man. Just very realistic. I grew up, in a house that whatever the late night TV show was, that was wind down time. And by the time it was done, it was straight to bed. So just that sound, that set, everything about it is just, and having the demon on stage and then going through people's TV sets, the premise is amazing.
I also watched the trailer, and I've got to say I was hooked from the second the announcer started talking, because he had that quintessential 70s announcer, and then it panned to the box TV on that moving tray so that you could pull the TV around the room. And I am just beyond excited for it. Plus, it's with IFC and Shudder, so I am pumped. Oh, nice. I watched the trailer for Infested, and if you haven't seen that, you've got to. It gave me the heebie-jeebies, and I'm not even one of those people that's afraid of bugs. But
yeah, it looks so good.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Lena?
Oh, I'm definitely, like I already said, and I think we all are both all excited for the Killer Clowns game.
Oh yeah.
I love the movie since I've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a cult classic. I am really excited what's in the game, how they're going to keep it updated and all that kind of stuff. Definitely looking forward to playing it if I get around to it. And then also the Silent Hill game. I really want to play it because I've seen that it's a bit about I mean it's very short,
Yes.
but
Yeah, it is.
it's a lot about teenage struggles, mental struggles, basically a lot of psychological things people have to go through. And that's a thing I've always loved about the Silent Hill franchise.
It is, and I've
They're-
actually. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, that's fine. They're very psychological, and I love that.
They are. I've played it. And I actually was like standing up playing part of it because I was just like freaked out, getting chased. I was just like, oh no. So I like it when a game makes me like actually stand up and play it while I'm doing stuff.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
All right, what about you, Blackened?
Well, I mean, I'm a big video game guy, so I want to check out every single one of these games. But yeah, the Killer Clowns from Outer Space game, I'm very interested to see to give that a go and a run. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre game. It's very similar to the Evil Dead game and the Friday the 13th game. So I'm definitely going to give that one a run. The problem for me with some of those games is like some of my buddies that I game with, they're not as big into horror, so it's kind of pulling at them to get them, these games. But I always offer a way out. Like, look, dude, I'll buy the game for you. Just entertain me and
Just play with me.
just play with me for a little bit. To find out that the Godzilla was sold out was kind of a bummer. Because me and my brother, it was way before our time, but we watched those old school Godzilla movies, and my brother still has them all on VHS. So knowing that you could have bought two per customer, that would have been a dope gift for me and a really cool gift for him. But Super 7 has some pretty wicked stuff, awesome stuff on their website. So I know I'm gonna check them out. The tabletop game. I got a good buddy of mine who's really big into those tabletop games, so I think getting that for him will, definitely, because a lot of this stuff, it's centered around like doing things with other people, and to me, that's the one cool thing about the horror community is it's so interactive. It forces you to interact with others. So I'm digging what these games that they're releasing, or the ones that they have released. Definitely give them a try, and then I'm a 33-year-old man who collects toys. So anything that's promoting new toys, I'm gonna I want to grab and proudly display, so I can walk around my place like a psychopath and look at it all.
I get
I've
it.
got
I
10
collect
years
stuff
on
too.
you. Black and yeah, same.
Yeah, like I love collecting
Same.
stuff.
All horror toys.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm with you there, buddy. And same thing with the game. It's funny, I was going to mention it. So I grew up on Killer Clowns, one of my first favorites, still one of my favorite anytime, every time, feel good horror movies, right? But when my problem with those type of games, and I missed the boat with Chainsaw Massacre, is when if you're not on it right away, the people that do get on, they rank up and stuff, and it just makes it harder to kind of join that community, right? But with this Killer Clown game, there's so many fans in our little communities of the Killer Clown franchise and that play games. I think we should all try and grab this game at the same time and start our own little hub, because that would be a lot of fun.
Definitely.
Yeah, and it's for the PS5, the PS4, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, Series S, and it's for Microsoft. It's across every platform.
Yeah, so we can all get into it. Right? Hey, Gigi, we never asked you. You listen to all the news?
Yes. So I mean, I kind of already touched on some of the stuff I'm most excited about. Like, I can't wait for the Vermin movie, or Infested for the English title. And I'm actually a huge board game junkie. My husband and I have a ton of board games, and I'd love to pick up the House of a Thousand Corpses one. I just think that would be a lot of fun to try and play on a game night. Um, and then, other than that, I mean, the Killer Clowns game, of course. I remember seeing it when I was a kid and loved that movie, and I just think there are so many different ways that a game could go, and I want to try them all. So, and then
the trailer looks cool.
It does. It does.
Like full octane fun.
Mhm.
Sorry, I was just gonna say for the House of a Thousand Corpses tabletop game, what what I think is interesting to me is the fact that they were able to make a board game single player. So I'm interested to see how how that plays out.
I'm guessing. I was looking into it a bit too. The concept is really cool. I'm guessing that it's like a dice-based game with cards and stuff, so you could potentially fall into traps, right? Like if it's a escape, you know what I mean? Like you start at one point and you have to kind of make it to an escape point, and there's traps and killers along the way, which will kind of fit the theme. Like I'm assuming that you hit a square, you got to pick a card, and it could set you back. But it's a cool concept.
Yeah,
Definitely,
yeah,
I think it's going to be fun with friends, but like the solo play on a tabletop, that's pretty cool.
All right, and to wrap things up, I want to kick things back to Blackened and let him talk about his upcoming and exciting novel that should be debuting in the next couple months.
Thank you very much, Gigi. Yeah, so Blackened is the name of my first novel. It is part one of a three-part series. It's a zombie survival book. We're gonna be doing a full deep dive into it in the next coming couple of weeks here on the podcast. But in the meantime, you can head over to my Twitter and Facebook. It's a Blackened novel for both of them, and on May 31st, the book will be available through witheruniverse.com.
Amazing. Can't wait for that.
Mm-hmm. All right. Thank you all for listening, and we will be doing a deep dive episode on that in the next couple weeks, so keep your ears open. And thank you so much for listening to our podcast and joining our community. We'd love it if you join the Discord. All right. Keep it spooky, y'all. Thanks.